Randy, you've I got to hand it to you for carrying on the tradition for all these years.
Well, thank you. It's a passion of mine. It's something that I believe in. Hunter education has always been. I mean, it's what I've always lived for. I just believe in it. And, I've known too many people that's got hurt doing things in the woods that if they just stopped or slowed down or put that harness on or unloaded that gun,
things would be different.
Things would be different.
The award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We're excited about today's show. Mr. Don King is in the house helping me co-host.
Yes, sir, Jason. Thanks for dealing me in around the table.
Yeah, and we have Mr. Randy Huskey.
Yes.
Around the table. First time around the poker table. He's been on the show before, but glad to have him as well.
Good to be here, Jason.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun show. We're talking about hunter education. Deer season it's right around the corner.
Yep.
Yep. So we're excited about that, and hunter ed is a big part of being ready for the woods.
That's right.
So we're going to talk about it today, and we got some exciting news that's going to help out folks who need hunter education, and COVID has put a damper on things a little bit, so we've found a workaround.
Yes, we have.
All right, so I'm excited to talk about that. But hey, Randy, what you been up to? You been out in the woods any, or been scouting or fishing, or what have you been up to?
Not much, Jason, man. I've been busy with our academy. Our game warden academy is in full swing. So.
Oh yeah, we got a new crop of folks that are coming on as new officers, right?
Yes, we do.
Tell us what that's like. What are they doing to get ready to be an officer?
Well, they go through an intense 20 weeks of training. It's called the Tennessee Wildlife Officers Training Academy. It's very intense, man, and those guys go through it, and it's a lot of it's very physical, and there's a lot of book learning and shooting and driving, and man, it's full blast for them.
It's a lot like a trooper academy, I guess.
Oh,
or what
absolutely.
An officer, a street officer would go through, but these guys go through a little bit different because they're in the woods, right?
Yeah, it's a little more specialized. It's more geared toward our wildlife officer.
And formerly, they used to go to a traditional police academy, didn't they?
Yes,
Donaldson Academy.
Yes, they used to go to Toledo in addition to our training, but now we give them all the training that they need in our academy.
That's right. And to be considered for the interview, they've got to come in with a degree in wildlife or fisheries or forestry. And,
that's correct, Don. Yes.
And so anyway, these are cream of the crop.
They are cream of the crop. They're dedicated. I mean, they're dedicated to get where they're at, and then they're even more dedicated to go through this 20 weeks.
It's a tough position. There's not as many available,
right?
And so it's a fight to get in there.
Absolutely.
I remember when the interviews happen, usually they're in the lobby right outside of where we are in Studio B, and man, you see a lot of folks coming through there that get a look, and not many get to come back for that second look. So that's good. Well, and I've seen that workout room too. That's pretty intimidating right there.
Oh yeah, they work out every day. They get up at 5:30 every morning and either run or do some kind of weight training, or they're at it all the time.
It looks like you might be in there with them a little bit.
No, not in a while. I've been too busy. Been a while.
Well, maybe you can find some time to get out in the woods this fall. And
I'm going to try.
Do a little fishing too. Maybe it's a great time to still be fishing. And it's a fun time. Well, let's jump into it. Hunter ed. Normally, it's a traditional course. You go to a class, sit through a class, take it, talk about it, learn about it, hands-on, and then you go shoot some guns, and you walk away with your certification. But now it's going to change a little bit. Tell folks what's happening.
Well, our traditional class, like you said, Jason, it's a very hands-on class. I mean, these instructors, they set up different exercises for the students, and it's extremely hands-on.
Right.
They get to work the actions of all the different firearms. They get to do a live fire. It's really good for the student. But during this COVID crisis, we've had to modify that a little bit. So how do you do a live fire without everybody touching the firearm? Well, there's really no way to do it. So
right.
We've had to suspend the live fire for now. Our instructors are requiring everyone to wear a mask, of course, to class.
Sure.
Keeping the students apart. Maximum class size is 25 students. I mean, that's rough on accommodating everybody that wants a class.
Right.
When you have to minimize your class sizes. And our live fire, like I said, we had to do away with it. We just couldn't have all those students handling one firearm or two firearms. And that's some of our biggest changes is the interactivity amongst the students and the instructors is kind of, for now, is very limited.
And you got to think about folks' health, too. I mean,
exactly.
Whether you're a young officer teaching a class or an older gentleman that's, teaching a class, a hunter ed volunteer or something like that, you got to be mindful of catching the virus or getting sick or whatever. You
do. Our instructors are, for the most part, it's an older crowd of gentlemen and ladies. And I sure don't want anything to happen to those. I mean, those guys, we've got 1,200 volunteer instructors in our state.
They are so dedicated.
Man, they are awesome. I've never seen a group so dedicated to anything in my life, man. I just love those guys and gals. They're unbelievable. They're just an awesome bunch of people. So we're going to shift gears. I mean, they're still going to teach traditional classes when all this is over with. I mean, actually, we're teaching some now. We're still teaching a few. But when this is over, we're going to get traditional classes ramped back up and rolling. And also, we're going to let these volunteers branch out into doing other things. Some of the mentored hunts, wounded warrior hunts, youth hunts, which a lot of them do now, but we're going to encourage all of them to get involved with these hunts. And we're going to do some virtual classes. We've got some plans on doing some virtual classes.
Awesome.
And we're going to, some of our volunteers that have, a specific specialty.
Expertise or something.
Some kind of expertise in their field. We're going to actually film them instructing and have that available to show. Yeah, we got some good big ideas.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get it done.
Well, you don't know how long this is going to last, and you don't know how long we're going to be working from home, and some of these changes are going to be. So it's good to prepare for that. We just helped Betsy last week with some boating stuff. She's going to be teaching classes online and that kind of thing. So having this opportunity to film it ahead of time and show it and do virtual classes is great.
Yeah, I think there's a big demand for that. And our guys are very well suited for that. They just may not have all the equipment they need, but hopefully we can provide that for them, and they've definitely got the expertise.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, so folks that, can't get to a traditional class because there's not as many as there used to be right now, there's an online option that we're going to offer folks, and so tell them about that option.
Okay, well, back up just a second.
Okay.
Previously, students could take the online course, and they would print out a field day voucher, and they would look for a field day class, and they'd go to that 4-hour field day, and bam, they're done.
Right.
But during all this, I mean, it just made a lot of sense to us to forego that in-person class, and let that student go ahead and become totally certified from one of the online courses. And the course that they will take right now, it does cost, it's $29, but it is a top-notch class.
Right.
As far as interactivity goes, from an online course, I mean, that's top of the line. It's an excellent class. There's a lot of interactivity. They have to, click things and, actually virtually walk through a little hunting scenario. And
they can't just page through.
No, you can't page through it. There's a lot of interactivity, and then they take our 100-question test at the end. There's state-specific questions on there, so it's a top-notch course. It really is. I mean, they get a good education. I mean, of course, we prefer an in-person traditional class, but this is a very good course.
Okay.
It is very good.
Well, let's show folks how to get there. To find the course. tnwildlife.org is our website. As always, a lot of information there, but you can click the hunting tab at the top. It'll drop down. You find hunter education. And once you're there, at the very top, it says find out online options, and that brings you to this section of the page. And you'll see there's a couple of different options, 1 and 2, a course for $28.95 and a course for $29. And Randy really likes the 29. It's 5 cents more, but that's okay, folks.
Well worth it.
Well worth it. Yeah. So you'll click that link, and it takes you to this page. If you're watching, if you're online, make sure you go watch the show, or just go to our website and start browsing. But here it is, and you got to be 9 years old to take it. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. Good point, Jason. Yeah, you have to be 9 years of age or older to take it. Anyone 9 and older can take it and become totally certified. You're done. You print off your certificate. Your information gets downloaded into our system. into both our Hunter Ed database and our license system, and you're good to go.
Good.
If you ever lose your card, you can go buy a replacement card at Walmart or wherever you want to go buy a replacement card.
Online.
Online, anywhere.
So that's pretty easy. So right there it is. It even shows you the 3 easy steps: study and pass the course for $29, and then get your hunter education certification or certificate, and then go hunting. Step 3 is my favorite part. Go hunting.
Absolutely.
Hey, that's where those mentors will come in, right, Randy?
No doubt.
A lot of those folks that have been so dedicated in teaching the course over the years, especially the in-person course, are more than enthused to get out there and help folks
Absolutely.
get involved.
Absolutely. They can actually see their instruction come to fruition by taking that student out in the field and watching them hopefully harvest their first animal.
Right.
It's awesome. Yeah. I think they get a lot out of it. I think the instructors would get a lot out of it.
Sure.
So just to reiterate that, those in-person classes, there's so many guidelines because of the CWD stuff and all that.
Yeah.
Or CWD, listen at me. I'm looking at...
That's another show.
That's
Dan.
another show, yeah. Rewind. CDC guidelines that we have to make sure we follow. And it's so hard to wipe down a gun every time, or, everybody has to wear a mask, and you got to separate and clean up. But like you said, you were talking before the show, you got to clean up between every session, take a break, you got to wipe things down.
Yeah, you sure do.
It's tough.
It is.
It's tough.
Just like everywhere else in society right at this moment, whether you're going to school in person, there's a lot of those things you got to abide by. And, or, an NFL football game. If you watch something like that on TV and you see 500 people in a 60,000 seat stadium, it's just
it's
so
crazy
weird.
Time. It is weird time. But you also got to think it's hard for the instructor to stand up in front of a student and teach in a mask.
Exactly.
That's hard to do. That's
Yeah.
very hard to do.
I never thought about that. Yeah,
because your voice is muffled. It's hard to understand them, and
yeah,
there's a lot of challenges.
Yeah. Well, if you're watching, we're keeping our 6 feet distance here.
Exactly.
We're social
measured
distance, so we're not wearing a mask today, but we're social distanced. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So just remind folks to watch our newsroom, watch our website, watch our social media. We'll be bringing updates about this to everybody. As things change and updates happen, we'll make sure everybody's notified on that for sure. Anything else about the new online? Isn't there going to be a free option? Do we want to mention that? Is there something that's going to be coming out?
Yeah, we can mention that.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. I'm working pretty hard with NRA right now to make that come to fruition. It's going to be a free option, a free online course. The course is it's interactive course as well. You would take it just the same as you would take this. It's all online, and when you're done, at the end of it, you're a completely certified hunter education graduate.
If you pass, right?
If you pass,
gotta
pass. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can't click through it either. It's not just a click. You've got to actually listen and learn and take the quizzes. And
yeah,
it's not a gimme.
It might be free to take, but it's not free to pass.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Good. What's some other options that you'd suggest for folks that once they take Hunter Ed, how would they, hone in their skills and learn how to climb a tree, or make sure they got the right gear when they go in the woods and that kind of thing?
Well, we're gonna offer some tree stand classes, tree stand safety classes. Amy Schneider, I know she's got some planned.
She's got one coming up, yeah.
Exactly, in Region 1. And hopefully all of our volunteer instructors will be shifting gears and doing more of these workshops. Because glad you mentioned tree stands, because, again, that's our number one cause of incidents in Tennessee is people falling out of tree stands. And, guys, wire your harnesses.
Yeah.
100% of them don't have a harness on. That's pretty well self-explanatory. Wire that harness.
It's kind of like wearing your PFD on the water.
Exactly. Exactly.
If you don't, you're asking for trouble.
I'm asking for trouble, man. Hook it up from the time you leave to the time you get back down. There's ways to do it.
Yeah.
It might take a little extra time, but if you want to save your life, you need to do that.
A lot of these buddy stands and other stands have rails around them, and people think, well, I'll be all right. I got a rail around it, and I'm okay. I've got this or that or the other, but that tree stand can give way, or you could slip right out from under that rail. So
absolutely, it happens every year, multiple times every year.
Or in my case, nod off for a second. Go limp, and there you go.
Oh, it's easy to do when you're sitting in the stand, and
you just keep that harness on. You'll be you'll be safe.
That's right.
Well, something else that came to mind is folks will need to study before the test. What's something they could do to prepare themselves before they go online? I mean, in my case, I'd want to study up before I go take the test, I would think. Is there options for that?
Well, I mean, the course is actually, I mean, that's your study material.
Okay.
It'll guide you through. I mean, it's not just a 1 hour course. You're looking at 7-8 hours. It's not something you can do in the night.
Right.
It takes you a while.
So plan ahead for it.
You got to plan ahead. Yeah. That's a good point, Jason. It's not something you can compete the night before you want to go hunting. You've got to, in the summertime when you got some downtime, it'd be a great time to start. And once you start it, you've got a year to finish it. So, take your time. You can go back and study chapters before you take the final.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, you can go back and review, and if you don't make it, you can start all over again and start the course again. Some of our younger students, some of the 9, 10, 11-year-olds, some of this material is it's pretty heavy. It may be over their heads, so they may have to go back through and look at it.
Yeah,
that's why I was thinking, man, if there just a little bit of little training or upfront practice and things. I mean, it's great for a parent to just go over some of those things with them. If they're a licensed hunter and have been through the course, take your kid out and show them a few things before they go through that class.
Absolutely. And if the parent's got a manual, one of the old Hunter Ed manuals, look at that. If your friend's got a Hunter Ed manual, I mean, there's a lot. We've bought a lot of those manuals through the years. There should be some floating around out there. Look at that manual and open it up and go through it. It's essentially the same as the course. It's just in printed form.
Yeah.
Actually, the same company prints the manuals that does the courses. So.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Randy, I got to hand it to you for carrying on the tradition for all these years.
Thank you. It's a passion of mine. It's something that I believe in. Hunter education has always been. I mean, it's what I've always lived for. I just believe in it. And, I've known too many people that's got hurt doing things in the woods that if they just stopped or slowed down or put that harness on or unloaded that gun,
things would be different.
Things would be different. Yeah.
Well, we were talking earlier before the show started about our interview way back in 12 or 13 years ago when you got hired to carry on hunter education here at the agency. And again, I just wanted to say thanks for doing that. And I know it goes back a long way. I mean, I think back about our director retired recently, and we dug some footage out of the archives of him presenting the instructor credential to Isaac Hayes in Memphis. So that takes it back to about 1972, maybe 73.
Exactly.
And Ed Carter was heading up the hunter education at that point, and then following him, Dave Woodward, my predecessor, and so anyway, again, thanks for carrying on the tradition.
I appreciate it, Don. It's been a dream job. Been a dream job for me. I've loved every minute of it. Just love getting to know those volunteers and their families. I mean, I can't say it enough. Thanks, guys. I appreciate everything that they have done.
Yeah,
and they're going to continue to do. I mean, it's going to kick back up again, and we're going to need traditional classes. There's a lot of students that don't have internet access, or if they do, they're like me. The internet access is very poor.
Right. Yeah,
they're going to have to come to traditional class. So there's always going to be a demand for that, and a lot of parents just simply like that interaction and that and that one-on-one instruction you get with a traditional class. Which I totally understand.
Great for single parents too. My mom their son wants to get into it, or daughter wants to get into it, and they know nothing maybe, and they're like, well, I need to go to that traditional class to get hands-on, and they feel more comfortable with her.
And it was a great thing too. I mean, and it still is a good thing that entire families would come to that traditional class. I mean, not just the little kids, but the parents would come with them, and they all sat through the class. And anytime you can learn about firearm safety, if you got firearms in the house, it's a good thing.
Definitely.
So let's just reiterate, if somebody, once this is lifted, or if like you said, there are still some traditional courses going on just with limited live fire stuff, how would someone find that?
Your traditional classes? Yeah. You go to our website.
I've got it pulled up. So we'd be on the Hunter Ed page.
Yes, you should find a link that says find a class.
Okay.
And the key
check
thing
for
about
classes
that
in your
is
area,
in
Jason.
your area, so you
Yes.
can. It
Got you right there under COVID-19
Yes.
courses. Okay, click
You
find one in your
click
area.
that link, and there you go.
and there they are.
So there's some classes that are scheduled right now, and then you could type your zip code in, pick one. This is one near the office here. Let's just say, drum roll please, 10 miles away, no classes. But, we're limited right now. There are some out there. There's one in Knoxville and places like that. So that's how you'd find a traditional course.
That's how you find traditional course. And actually, we're still doing a few field days to try to catch up people that may have got their field day voucher and hadn't completed their field day course yet. Something to keep in mind, though, if you took the course after September 1st, 2019, you're actually grandfathered in.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to go back into the class, you've already got your field day voucher printed out, and you want to go back into the class, use your username and password, you should be able to print out a full-blown certificate.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good.
that's
to know.
awesome.
We've tried to catch all those people up from this spring.
So say that again. What's the dates?
September 19th.
September 1st,
Oh, 1st.
2019.
Okay. So if
So
you
essentially last year, if you took it September of last year, you should be good. Just go in, use your username and password, and pull up your certificate.
Okay. Yeah, that's worth mentioning.
awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, because we've had a lot of people call in and want classes, right before turkey season, and we just didn't have any.
Right.
It was pretty much shut down. So trying to catch all those folks up.
Awesome. That's good. One other thing that just popped in my head was if you're 21 years or older, you're exempt, right? Is that the case?
That used to be. Essentially, that was a total online course completion. If you were 21 and over, you could complete the course totally online.
Okay.
But now it's 9 and over. So
Gotcha.
we essentially just changed the age.
Uh-huh.
So prior, it was if you were 21 and over, you could take it online and be totally certified. But now it's 9
Gotcha.
instead of 21.
Okay. So pretty much the same standards that were in place. It's just kind of an age shift.
Yeah.
I don't want to blaspheme here, but
Go ahead.
there is the option for the apprentice license.
Yeah, absolutely.
We
Yeah.
probably ought to mention that as well.
Sure. Yeah, that's online at gooutdoorstennessee.com. I forget the price on that, but don't quote me. Just go check it out. But it exempts you from Hunter Ed if you can't get to the traditional or don't have time to get the online course. That is an option.
But you do have to be with a mentor, somebody 21 or over.
Exactly. You do have to be with somebody, and they have to be in a position to take control of that firearm. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's important. That's important.
Yeah.
And even if you have taken that course and passed it, and it's important to know that firearm. Go hunting with an adult for a little while before you send your young guy out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you, no matter what your age, if you have that apprentice license, you have to be with a certified Hunter Ed.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what age you
hunter.
got to be with somebody.
Yeah.
If you choose to go that option, you have to be with somebody.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of opportunity to get outdoors this fall. I know the season's about to ramp up. 26th of September will be archery, and then it'll move on from there. So I'm looking forward to getting out there, and also looking forward to watching a little football. It's that time of year. But put your orange on.
It is. Absolutely.
Randy, what's something that sticks out in your mind? You've been doing this, you said 12 years, but you were an officer for a long time. And what's something that sticks out from a Hunter Ed experience that just that stands out in your mind? It was a fun event or just life-changing kind of thing like that?
We've had so many events and so many mentored hunts that I've been on and helped with.
Watching a kid for the first time,
I guess, the youth hunts down the Buffalo Ridge, I guess, are some of the best memories. To see those little guys harvest their first animal, that's pretty special. Mm-hmm. And the wounded warrior hunts too. I mean, watch those guys; they get excited as well.
Oh yeah,
I bet.
So those hunts are all. I mean, it's just and that's just a culmination. I mean, you start in a class teaching hunter education, and then you actually get to go to the field and watch them do it. I mean, that's pretty awesome. Pretty good to see it all come to an end there.
Yeah, some of those soldiers have never been before.
No, they've not.
They can shoot a gun well, you know, but they've never hunted before.
Right.
You know, it's cool to see those guys.
It is.
Gals get out there and do that.
Yeah.
So, I look forward to my son getting through Hunter Ed and you know, he's been out with me a few times and loves to go with me. He hadn't been ready to shoot the gun yet, but he enjoys it. So I look forward to get him through that class. And
it's kind of a rite of passage in Tennessee. You take that course, and then it used to be the youth hunt used to be a reward for hunter education back in the day,
right,
several years ago. You take hunter education, and then you would get to go on the statewide youth hunt, and all the special youth hunts on the WMAs. But we've changed the age and everything, and it's kind of done away with that. But it used to be the reward for hunter education was those youth hunts. Sure. Telling on myself how old I am a little bit.
Well, and you've mentioned the volunteers multiple times, but just to reiterate, they're a big part of hunter ed, and they're going to continue to be.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm sure some of those guys would be willing to take a young man or woman out, into the woods and help them learn the skill. So
what a better, there's no better instructor that you could find than a hunter education volunteer.
Yeah, that's right.
Those guys would definitely be safe, which is the most important thing when you're in the woods.
If folks wanted to learn more about it, the website for sure, tnwildlife.org, about everything hunter ed. They can contact our offices. We're still answering phones. We're not here in person a lot of times, but we're still making sure those phone calls are answered. And if you need more assistance with this, we're there to do that as well, right?
Yes.
And many of our wildlife officers are instructors too.
They're all instructors. That's one thing we do. We put them through the instructor's course, and they all teach classes.
And depending on where they're assigned and that kind of thing, the demand and supply and demand, that kind of thing, some of them teach more than others.
Oh, exactly. Exactly.
But gosh, I've heard so many of our wildlife officers say that, they remember who they took their hunter ed course from.
Absolutely.
Growing up, as a kid. And then they're passing it on to the next generation. And, a lot of times a teenager or a 20-something will come up and talk to hey, you taught my hunter ed class back when I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I'm getting that now. Yeah. You remember me? It's just big.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wow. Well, we could talk for days, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Randy, I appreciate you being here with us today.
I enjoyed it.
Reiterate real quick if what the new option is for hunter ed before we go.
Total online course completion. Go to our website, follow the links, you'll get there. Take the course. Once you complete the course, you'll be totally certified in Tennessee.
All right. Well, we trying to make it easy for our sportsmen and women out there to get outdoors, and this is one step closer to that. So anyway, go to tnwildlife.org for all the info. Go outdoors. Tennessee.com for your license, and just keep hunting. Guys, thank y'all.
Good luck out there.
We'll see y'all next time on Tennessee WildCast.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee WildCast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.